Everyone, welcome to FMA Talk. This is your host, Dr. Tim, and my wonderful co-host,
PG Times here. Welcome, everyone.
How are you all doing? Listen, when you come in today, please let us know what part of the world you are chiming in from. Sometimes the feeds don't come in, depending on where you're doing it, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or whatnot. Today's going to be a bunch of different things. We're going to review a little from last week, which is about hosting events, because this week is about the review for the World Modern Arnis Alliance Spring Camp, which we had a blast. All right, Jim, all the way from Texas. How you doing, Jim?
Hey, Seafood Jim. He used to be at Montoya School and also has his own school and everything. Yep.
And Terrell Richardson. How you doing from Maryland? There we go. So, listen, everyone, please, as if you like the show, make sure you like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and feel free to share this wherever you feel appropriate. And we have a Facebook user from Ohio. There we go. Facebook user, welcome to the show.
Yep. Hi, you, and hi, Terrell. I missed that. Sorry.
So,
good to see y'all.
Yeah, it was. I'm beat up. I'm exhausted.
Tired a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
but for good reason.
Yeah. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things and how things affect stuff. But before I get into that, I want to hit my rant. So I saw something this weekend. I knew it was coming. It annoys the hell out of me. I'm going to say it because when it's put out in public, when I put something out in public, I understand that there's going to be scrutiny. So when other people put things out, they need to be prepared for the same scrutiny, unless they're going to be hypocritical on things. So this past weekend, Brian Zwolinski does a doublehead seminar with Jeff Ramsey. And of course, there's some kind of promotion, acknowledgement, or whatever the case may be. Doing good. Thank you, sir. And yes, thank you for my birthday wishes. Yesterday was my birthday. I had a nice little balloon chapeau, a tribal headgear. I don't have the photos, so please, people, share photos with me. I've created a Google Drive folder for the event, which I'll be sharing with people. So it was an interesting thing. I want to talk about two things about it. Where to go with? So it starts off talking about the diplomas. We've had this conversation. I want to have this again in the future. He started talking about how his diploma was different than the rest of the masters at Tappy Tappy. We've talked about this. Professor used whatever diplomas they were. The diploma that he has, one that says the Modern Arnis Federation of the Philippines, I have several of them. It's not, I mean, I don't have my diplomas handy. Then again, I might, who knows? And at the end of the day, it's whatever professor. I mean, some camps we went to, there was no diplomas because the host didn't, Remy didn't bring anything, or, he didn't have access to stuff. I mean, when we talk about where are you at on that?
Yeah, no, I saw all sorts of different plots. And in fact, there was at least one time I can think of at a major camp. There was no official paper. So they scrambled, worked up something, and, legitimately really had, Remy's signature on it, but they worked something up specifically. So they either had what's on hand or they made a new one. It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, I had something special that I haven't seen with anyone else. Professor had a diploma made with my name on the diploma pre-printed.
Oh yeah, right.
As where I would sign, So if we want to talk about, like, did he do something special for someone? Well, that's pretty darn special.
It could just be that nobody could read your writing, but I doubt it. Actually, your signature is way better than mine.
Yeah. So here's my last diploma from Remy. I think this is the one that the Mott's had. We all had the same paper, which the point is, it's the paper. It wasn't special paper. It was what the next evolution of the certificate may have looked like.
Yep.
Another one. Oh, Datu Tim Hartman. There we go. When people question whether I have a Datu diploma or not, whatever. That became a topic. Remy Praises. Terry Warren was the camp director. Let me see if I can get to. Okay, Modern Arnis Federation of the Philippines. I have one of those. That's my first diploma, 1988.
Yep.
Oh, look, advanced instructor, 1987. Here's the 1988 one again. Oh, Lacan Tatlo.
I think I have one that you don't have, one on the organization ones.
The what?
Mazik, remember?
Oh yeah, I mean George Mazik had his own diploma he would issue out.
Yep.
I had one that I would have signed by Remy as well. So Modern Arnis Federation of the Philippines, right there.
Yep.
International Modern, the black diplomas, a limited run on those.
Yeah, I never. Yep. That's the only one I've seen.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the ink got absorbed in here. You can see the signature if you look real close.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
the ghosted.
You know, and there's the first one. Oh, here we go.
Ah, yes.
I mean,
I've got one like that, except for without that second to the last bottom line.
Right there.
Yep, I got several like that.
So he so I still have this original. He made these for me so I could promote my students. I mean, I don't know of any that have this instructor with their name pre-printed on there, or the field with my name on there. Let me see here. Yeah, boom. Okay, so to make it sound like it was something special, I think is nonsense because, well, you just saw a whole bunch of them there. You know, there was multiple I mean, we went to the Harrisburg camp 2 years in a row. They never issued diplomas. I had to get diplomas made for my students, and professors signed off on them. I mean, and I don't necessarily blame the host. The host. It's professor's signature. It's professor's certificates. He should be the one bringing them.
Right.
The thing about reissuing it really annoys me because it's almost trying to say recertify him through Remy Jr. We've already talked about this. Say it again. Remy Jr., I'm not going to talk about the quality of his instruction, but he has no claim to modern Arnis. He studied with his father when he was like 10 or 12 years old, maybe. And his training, his brush-up training came from Riddell de Guck. He was doing Das Arnis. So when they use the name Modern Arnis, I mean, obviously a lot of us have issues with that, but, and, you know, it is what it is. But having met Jeff Ramsey once and just say, oh, I'm going to recertify him. Like, one, I don't think he's qualified to certify anyone. He's never run a school. He's always just had a training group, and he had a different profession. And I don't think he understands the qualities of stuff. And I know exactly what I'm saying, and that's my opinion. And if people have a problem with it, I'm sorry, but that's how I feel on this. But, you know, after meeting someone once and then acknowledging them as a 6th degree black belt, I think this is what actually cheapens the art, you know. And like I said, we had 14 people test for black belt and degrees thereof this weekend that were sponsored by black belts, were brought in. We did hands-on training. They'd been in for years. And meeting someone once, promoting them to a 6th degree or acknowledging them to the 6th degree, I think it just cheapens the art. Once again, there's a bunch of people that professor didn't give the authority to promote to any belt. You know, I've been in the room when people ask professor, can I promote the color belt? And he goes, no, just bring them to camp. I've always had permission to promote the color belts. No one had permission to promote to black belt while Remy was alive.
That's what I was told. Yep, that's what I was told.
You know, so, and Brian didn't run a school. He was a correctional officer. He inherited a program, but he didn't build a program. So I don't know if he really has the chops and the experience to understand what people should be looking like belt level to belt level. And this is our credo. You know, we don't promote black belts. We produce black belts. And unfortunately, him and others have just been throwing things around. The other thing too, is when you listen to the announcement, he talks about Jeff being around like 35 years. Yeah. In jiu-jitsu, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, talented jiu-jitsu guy, very talented jiu-jitsu guy, but he's only been doing modern, to my knowledge, since Remy died. He's not an OG as he was talking about. And, you know, and for someone who's not running an organization, he's sure running an organization now. I don't know. The other thing I had a problem with, and this is my last part of the tirade, he really MF'd the IMAF, the member that he'd been in organization for, was a leader of after Remy died. A coup, if you ask me, but for over 15 years, talked about it was about kissing the ring and all this other stuff, and that's why he left. I'm like, one, you're a part of that organization for over 15 years. You're either part of the problem or the solution. So you either ignore the problem or you get involved and try to fix something. I drive down the road, I see someone that needs help and I can't stop. I'm on the phone to the police calling. This weekend, one was driving around the parking lot when we were leaving Applebee's at night. Headlights were off. I stopped her car. I go, ma'am, your headlights are off. Oh, okay, thanks. Because that was a safety issue and someone can get hurt. I could have ignored it, and it would have crushed me if I would have found someone got hurt because that woman hit somebody. Somebody else might say, well, I didn't do it. Yeah, but you had an opportunity to affect the situation. And I've always done this. I've always been involved in my community and tried to do things of this nature. And, to sit there and dump it on these guys after you've been gone for years, I think is cowardly. Secondly, you were part of that problem. And if anyone was about kissing the ring, Brian was probably the worst at it. I don't expect a phone call because he really doesn't call when he have issues. He's more of an ostrich with the head in the sand. But listen, this is my opinion. No one has to like it. No one has to agree with me. But when you do things publicly, like I do, I fall under scrutiny of others. Well, when others do the same thing, they got to expect what goes around comes around. This is not a revenge thing. This is my observation, my opinion, which I'm allowed. So I wanted one of the white ones with Remy's signatures. Saw it at the last camp. That was too cool. Yep. So
now I feel bad because I don't have a good rant myself, but I rarely do. Right, every once in a while.
Did you want to say anything on what I said about how I'm a bad guy I am for saying all those things?
I get where you're coming from. There's some parts I agree with. There's some things I'd say differently, but that's how it goes. But I don't have anything to add really.
Okay. Do you think? Okay. See, there you go. He said he didn't necessarily would say the same things I said, which means we may agree on certain things and not on others.
Okay. Like adults can do.
There we go.
Right.
Good evening, both of you. How are we both doing? I'm tired. Good. Ty, how about you?
I'm doing good. The Facebook user I think was Jason Farnsworth. I saw that on another page when it popped up.
All right, Datu and the Ty. So please make sure when you claim in there. It depends on what page you're looking. I think it depends on which page you're watching the show on. Yes, that was me. Okay, good. So
I got something right. Okay, I'm done. See you guys.
There you go. So we just did the spring World Modern Arnis Alliance training camp. I am very pleased, quasi disappointed. Could have done things better on my end. It's going to tie into last week's show. So last week we talked about hosting events and trying to deal with things. I'm going to talk to you about something that happened that I was trying to get ahead of. Hey, Tish, how you doing? Hey. Trying to get ahead of, and at the last, it still bit my butt in the last minute. So if anyone has ever seen the diplomas that we give out, Joe Rabella will talk all about them. They are made by Ed. They are designed by Ed Parker Jr. Amazing diplomas. So I've got a very expensive printer to print them. And at last year's camp, I spent probably 8 hours in my office during the camp printing diplomas. So from that point on, I decided that, hey, from now on, I'm going to pre-print these diplomas. And if people don't pass, I will, as much as it pains me to do it, I will tear the diplomas up and throw them away. Because these are pieces of art. And then Tish says they're amazing work. Well, lo and behold, the printer finally broke down the week of camp. It came in on Friday. I've unboxed it. I haven't put it there. I was going to do a temporary diploma. I did nothing. Now, we did have black belts for all the black belt candidates, and they passed. It was great. But, at the same token, this is where I feel I bobbled a little. I probably should have did it a week earlier.
Well, it's hard to tell when your printer's going to puke because I saw the failed prints and it was starting to puke. So stuff happens.
and the printers were going partway. The print came partway down perfect, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yep.
I went through like 8 of these.
Hopefully, your new one's faster too. That may also mitigate some of that.
There we go. And yes, I love those diplomas, colorful lapu lapu on them. Yes. All right, PG Ty. You said there were some things you agreed with and some things you would say a little different. What would that be? Back to my rant.
Well, then I have to go back and figure out. Let's see.
And Facebook user? Who are you?
I think that's probably Farnsworth again. So one of the things is definitely, I mean, I definitely saw different paper being used all different times. I don't think that actually implies anything. It really depends on what was available. The important fact was Remy signing stuff. That was
Hey,
as the certifier, not as a witness or something.
I want to ask you this. So since we're going back, because this is something I am exhausted. I am exhausted. Would you say that Remy was okay? So I can't talk about what happened in the Philippines, but after my take on the IMAF, that Remy used the name of the IMAF when he came to the States after things got rolling, it was less of an organization, more of his personal branding.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I can see that, and you know how maybe people do or don't, but I think you do. How I feel about the IMF and versus IMFP, right? The IMFP was never over IMAF. IMAF was where Remy was.
So first of all, let's do this. IMAF was Remy.
Yep.
And so Remy came here in the 70s. In 1999, they formed the Philippines chapter of the International Modernist Federation.
Yep.
The Philippines chapter.
Yep.
That was in 1999. Furthermore, if you look at it, we'll go to the will, which I don't like the fact that it was put up in its entirety by Mr. Anderson, but he did put up the Marshall thing, the Marshall portion, which was been put up publicly prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
The IMA, none of the members of the IMAFP were put in charge to inherit the system or to run the organization after Remy's passing. The only two Filipinos, when I say Filipinos, I mean native residents. Mm-hmm. Okay. Was Roland Dantes and Shashir Nakalo. I don't even know if Riddell de Guck was listed in there. I don't think he was. I think it was just Roland and Shashir.
Sounds right, but I can't remember exactly.
And knowing Roland personally, his position would have been more about being Kuya or Big Brother. Mm. He wouldn't have been, or our Manang, our elder, to give us advice, not someone to run things, because he was about promoting all of FMA and helping us get better. He didn't want to run anything. He wanted to help people do good at what they did. But the IMAFP is the Philippines chapter of the main organization, which was based, wait for it, wherever Remy was.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll hit that right, because what he was doing at any given time was the most current state of things.
Right. Okay. So we got that.
As far as other things, we'd have to go rehash it again. And I did find it also weird that if you already had a 600 junior, what's going on here? So I thought that was strange.
Well, I mean, if he's got a 600 junior, and now he's trying to say it's more of a legitimate tie, why is a tie? It's a more legitimate tie. Potting. Nice. No, but why? First, I mean, okay, I'm jaded because of all the nonsense and all the frivolous rank that's been given out as of late. So to me, it just deludes the rank thing. But I mean, I don't really think that he's anyone that should be giving rank out in the first place. Secondly, it doesn't say that Remy's junior's rank was based on poor martial arts. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Jeff kept the rank from Remy. He must have felt that there was a value to it. Mm-hmm. So, unless he just paid for it, which I don't think Jeff would have done that.
Right.
So, and he's been talking about carrying the Modern Arnis banner through junior forever, even though that he's separated from junior. He's still saying that he's a Modern Arnis guy, which, once again, I don't think is an accurate representation of his martial expression. Not saying it's bad material. It just doesn't accurately represent what Remy was teaching. Remy as in senior. Personally, I wish Junior would have just came up with a new system, or he would have done the right thing, joined one of the organizations and becoming a member of it, and we could have groomed him to be that person if he wanted our help. But he didn't have the material, so whatever. Okay. we're going off the rant here. Let's go back to this. So we go with technology will fail you. The new model will be much faster too. Quality over quantity. Thank you. I like that. Joe, my apologies regarding not being at camp. Aside from the matters, a good friend died. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Sorry about that, my friend.
Family. I mean, a good friend is family too. So that's first.
Friends of the family, in many cases, friends of the family you choose.
Yep. Hey, Frank. How you doing? Frank just said, "Hey, guys," and didn't even say, "Hey, guys," and Tim.
There we go. I'm looking at people telling me. People are making fun of my age still.
You're pretty old now.
Yeah. I am older than. Oh my God, I'm so old. Oh, that's right. You'll be the same age next month.
That's next month. That's so far in the future.
So far in the future. Well, I can go back to the future. So let's get back to the camp. You know what I'd like to. Oh, no. We talked about the IMAF. Real quick, I would like to go over on another episode whether there truly was an organization stateside. I mean, you actually said it the other day, and we were talking about that the only two attempts that really to be organized was the camp chapter of the IMF, which I ran, and George Majak's Modern Arnis Karate Jiu-Jitsu organization that he was doing, that Remy had given us both permission to organize and run. We had a website. We were talking about a database of, for schools. I don't know what George had, but on mine, I had a website that had seminar listings by Remy and the students, schools that were listed, and people like Brian Zabolinski was one of the members of the Can-Am chapter of the IMF. He's one of our directors. But we had these kind of things. Okay, a website to talk about Remy, where to go train with him, where are the training camps, seminars by the students, schools to train, stuff of that nature. Facebook user, I'm not sure about what's going on if you're just saying, hey, yo, what's going on? Or you're saying, well, what's going on? But what's going on is we're talking about camps, but I would like to talk about that in the future. How would you feel about that as a topic? Whether there was an IMF organization after Remy moved to the States?
I guess you'd have to define organization. I mean, we could do that. We could have that discussion. I think, different people can have different definitions, but it would be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, because I think more of a branding personally. It was Remy's personal brand, which there's nothing wrong with that. But let's talk about this weekend. So I had a technical problem. So we talked about last time about things that overcome and stuff like this, with hiccups that happen with events, hosting and promoting and stuff like this. So the downside is that my printer died. I had a backup plan. I didn't implement the backup plan. I know that you guys, the board members, said, it's probably best that you just say the heck with it and not try to rush it because you're not going to be happy. It's still going to take you off the floor. And it'd be better if you're on the floor with us because, well, it's your camp.
Yep. It was Bob Guida was asking what's going on.
That was Bob. Hey, we're just talking smack, Bob. Bob's actually going to be in Florida this next week for work, so I won't see him in class. And Rob, I won't be back next week because I'm going to Brazil as a month. So PG, Craig, and I are going to Brazil for about 11 days. So we won't have a show the next 2 weeks.
Probably good. I'm overloaded with work. I think. Yeah. And let's see the other thing. So it was PG Craig saying you and I. It was Guida saying Tampa too hot. Oh, and it was GM Terrell asking the question about different ways of stating things.
Yeah. But. All right. So, just no good. Well, someone says.
I think.
Someone's got to look at a different Facebook page. Listen. Whoever that Facebook user is, go to my Facebook page personally, and I'll probably come in there.
That's Bob Guida again.
Miguel Rube, yo. Hey. Rancho Cordova, great place for Dos Pares, and wait for it, Yao Yan.
That, and I think a reminder that there are some settings you can pick in Facebook to identify yourself more publicly too.
Oh, there we go. Hey, my man, my brother.
Nice. Anyway,
so we had a problem. The problem was Well, that's the last problem. I mean, that was the problem leading into it. So the first problem was that the printer died, and we went through the week getting it, all things with that, and we decided that we were not going to do it. So this could be good advice for people holding events, because at the end of the day, I knew no matter what I did, I wouldn't be satisfied unless I had it right and the way I wanted it.
Mhm.
So we opted out because I had belts and I could send diplomas to people later. And
Sure.
that way it might be a little less convenient, but at the end of the day, I wanted it done my way. So I'm satisfied. At the end of the day, they got their black belts. We had 14 people pass their black belt tests and degrees thereof.
Mhm.
Pass, not awarded, pass the test.
Some of them had been, on their road for years and years and years.
Yep.
Some significant numbers of years because they had other priorities. So it's awesome.
So another challenge. I'm going to Brazil. PG Ty was there when it happened because Tuesday PG Ty comes into town. We could say because he likes me, or he just wants to get away from work.
Might be that latter one a little bit. Yeah.
So lo and behold, he comes in. I realize at the very last minute, I'm going to Brazil in 2 weeks. I may need to have a booster shot. So I quickly, Janice quickly set things up for me. On Tuesday, I got my booster shot for it's Pfizer. And at the end of the day, I started having aches, pains, and chills. And I think that I'm still feeling it today. PG Ty saw me walk around Tuesday night. Wasn't a good situation. I was limping around like I was over at the symposium 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks or a week prior, 2 weeks prior. So then, hello Eric from Portland. I see he's logging in, right? Because he's watching over on YouTube.
YouTube. Yep.
So then, the very next day, I go on for my fourth and final treatment of my shockwave therapy for my plantar fasciitis, my heel spur.
Mhm.
Later that day, I go to have my knee looked at because I was in a car accident and I've been limping around. 100 cc's of fluid was taken out of my knee.
And you didn't get to keep it.
I didn't get to keep, man. I wanted a souvenir. I don't know. So wrapped my knee, gave me the brace. The next 2 days, I was getting used to the leg being different.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't go too well.
Yeah, there was a couple hiccups, especially earlier on.
But we do a test, or no, we do a evaluation for people, whether they're testing or not. And the
Throughout
board
whole
is on
camp.
the floor with them.
Yep, I was going to say throughout the whole camp, but as well as during the test. Everybody was out there.
Yes, our evaluation starts from the moment they walk through the door. So we do a 2-hour spotlight on certain material, or more or less a pressure test. And I actually went on the floor doing my form, and I hadn't done my form to the level. I was going down to the knees and doing all this stuff. Still some issues, but I hadn't been able to perform that since the car accident. So I'm really feeling the improvements of the treatment, but I do feel that I got a ways to go. Hey, maganda umaga.
Hey there.
So, tired, beat up, medicated. I just wasn't feeling. I mean, I did. Everyone's, and then the post event. So we did our thing in the morning. I left the house at 8 in the morning. Didn't get home till 9 o'clock at night because I took people to the falls.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the post event stuff
Right.
we talk about, because I had 5 people stay after. 2 were leaving late that day.
Mm-hmm.
We say goodbye to everybody and all this other stuff. And then I went on a little rant, and I unintentionally offended some people, which I think we're at a good place now. And I apologized because I'm so passionate about what we do. I mean, for everyone knows, for those who don't know, I started this when I was 19. I'm 58 years old now. I've compromised the quality of my life for my martial arts. I don't have kids, not because I didn't want kids, but it took me a long time to find someone that'll put up with me, and I miss those child years, the years that I could have a kid, the years when I was at the age that I could bring a kid into this world. I wasn't financially set to do stuff, and I think it would be irresponsible for me to bring a child in and not be able to support them. I mean, could I have had a bunch of kids? Yeah, I could have had a bunch of kids all over the place with girls getting pregnant and then leaving them and ignoring them. And like, no, if I'm gonna have a child, I want to be part of it and I want to contribute to the family and and I want a good, stable environment. And I couldn't do that because of the sacrifices I went. I hear all these people in modernities talk about all these friggin' sacrifices, but it's like, but you still have kids, you still did this, you had a career, you did all these things. And I went down the martial art path as a career, and that's how I ended up today. So
there was another observation that was made by one of the people involved. It was a good point, I think, which was, hey, that was a discussion that probably been better when everybody was fresh, and not tired, wiped, emotional, and all of the things that we did by the last day of the camp, and among other challenges. So I think. Yeah. One of the things people know, hey, I don't know if you've heard this before. You're pretty blunt, and then if you're passionate and grumpy at the same time, that can be pretty darn intimidating, right?
And at the last session I taught, intimidator.
Yes, that's never been done before.
Yeah, and I think at the last session of the camp, or when I summarized the camp, I went through this and talked about it. So, listen, I'm very passionate about this because this is what got me where I am today. This is how I got where I am today. And when I see people being knuckleheads or doing stuff, and there's a lot of things. Like when I see techniques being done wrong out there, and I'm going to say it wrong, I look at it and I try to find out if it's because they're doing it wrong or they were misinformed. And using, say, the Sinwalis. Reverse Sinwali, doing it while you're bending over. Remy never instructed us to bend over.
Right.
But everyone did it until one day I figured this stuff. And then the professor's like, well, why are you doing it that way? I don't know, because everyone else is doing it. I don't know. I mean, we do the angles of attack. Okay, what's a Sinwali? It's a striking drill. What do you strike with the Sinwalis? Everyone's going to say the sticks. Okay, that's not really the answer. But we're using the sticks. What are we striking with? It's the angles of attack. When in the angles of attack are you bending your back over to hurt yourself? You do single Sinwali, it's the same angles of attack. If we're doing modern Arnis angles, original versus a modified counting system, it's angle 1 with the right hand, angle 8 with the right hand, then a left number 1 and a left number 8. Okay, so reverse Sinwali are all 8s and 9s. Now, in single Sinwali, you don't bend over to do the low shot. Why are you doing it during reverse Sinwali? And I've actually heard some of the influencers talk about this. I'm like, well, that's just dumb. Didn't you learn this? I mean, come on. So, but it could have been that they were misinformed, or I love Huck Polanis from Kempo because I have a lot of friends that are Kempo guys, and I was a special guest at a lot of Kempo events. So I would hear, well, that's what you taught us, sir. He goes, no, that's what you think I taught you.
Nice. Well, I remember Eric telling us, hey, don't bend over. Yeah. Lower yourself down, but don't bend over.
Takes a special woman to put up. Well, I'm gonna go non-sexist here. It takes a special
partner, yep.
Because it could just as easily be the woman who's got the career in martial arts. Mm-hmm. So it takes special people to put up with our nonsense.
True. Very true.
And I've taught, and when I meet someone's significant other, because it could be a girlfriend, it could be a boyfriend, it could be a husband, could be a wife, could be a whatever, 3-pronged toaster. I'm an equal opportunity offender. Mm-hmm. I sit there and go, I really, a lot, especially if they let them hang out with us. Mm-hmm. I thank them. I go, listen, thank you for letting your partner hang out with us, because I know it's spending time away from your family.
Yep, absolutely.
And
I do that too. I'll thank them right out. And yep.
Yeah, when we met Dean's wife, mm-hmm. Dean Frankel's at the New Hampshire event, I said, hey, thanks a lot for letting him come out and play.
Yep.
Good for you, Datu. Do however you have the mindset to be a good father. Thank you. So I have 4-legged children, so that's it. Sure does allow that person to hang and try. Yeah, and then here's Tish. So here we go. Here's Tish, whose martial arts is her focus.
Yep.
So she's the one. So that's why I say, don't. It takes takes a special woman. Now, Tish is the special woman. It takes a special family members to put up with us and all these others. Say, okay, oh hey, look who's here, Kelly.
Kelly, hey there.
I'm taller than you. You should be lower. You should be lower than me. If I'm taller than you, you should be lower than me.
Right.
How you doing, Kelly? Hope things are going well on the left coast out there. And when are we going to have you back on the show, my friend? Because that was a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Love to have you on there.
That was fun.
It was definitely a fun show. So stance work, old school. Yep.
I'm just going to silently nod as a kung fu person as well.
There we go. I'm checking something. Maybe soon. Ooh.
Good deal.
So, Kelly, I'm taking off next week for Brazil. When I come back, I'm going to give you a call. Got to catch up, talk about some things, go from there. Time to look something up here real quick because I want to talk about one of the attendees. Hey, listen.
Good deal.
Is that Labor Day weekend?
I never know. Chad would know.
Well, I mean, Kelly would know. It's his event.
Well, he would know for sure. But
yeah.
That's
Kelly. When's your event? We want to plug it while we're here.
Yeah, Kelly's pretty fast on the responses here compared to some.
Here we go. Yeah, and Datu show.
Nice.
You take point while I look for something really more.
I was going to touch on, since this is a good time for me to touch on some of the other things. One of the things I really enjoy is the spread.
Oh my God! Look who's here. Michael Perry.
Oh, very good.
He's another guy.
Long time no see.
Mike, we're going to talk about you on the show. So, hey, did you put your daughter to bed? Oh, here we go. Budget Brothers are rolling in. Yes, September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Wow.
Okay. Good. So, listen.
Nice.
SeaTac area, September 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Go to wardencombatives.com. Look up Kelly Warden. You're going to find it. He's going to have all the information there.
Yeah.
She's literally passed out on me right now. Okay, so I want to. Otherwise, I was going to send you a link and say, "Come on board." But
so I won't blow my whistle at this particular time.
Yeah, but we're going to be talking about Mike Perry, Budo Brothers. Okay.
Nice.
No,
yeah. So
if for a minute while
you're looking that up, I was going to mention another thing. So one of the things I like about these is the spread. So we had people from 5 to 7 hours north in Canada, all the way down to Alabama and Florida. Several groups from Florida and a lot of people, and everywhere in between. It was really really good to see that, and we all just were out there on the floor playing with each other as if we'd known each other forever. Made some good new friends, and connections, as well as reaffirming some old ones. I saw some people I hadn't seen for years, like Brad Fowler. What a great guy!
Yeah, I haven't seen him since pre-COVID.
Yep.
Jump into class. Safe travels. Yep. Thank you. I'll give you a holler when I get back, buddy.
Yep.
All right. So since it's going to take me a while to find this, I want to talk about. We had a special guest. Michael Perry was that special guest.
And Darren Breslin says good evening because you're wondering who that is. Yeah.
Actually, there's two special guests, and Dominic Violante, Master Dominic Violante,
absolutely.
Who's a longtime friend of ours, and we had him on. He did some cane techniques, and evidently some of the guys down in Florida think about bringing them down there, which is great.
Good deal.
Once again, the network working together. So Mike Perry came out. Now, Mike Perry is the COO, Chief Operating Officer of MIAM, Martial Arts Industry Association. And he came and did a business seminar on Thursday pre-camp, and then did a luncheon with our people, and was very gracious, made a couple donations of I don't want to, it's not an expensive module, but for our people, it's an expensive module. made a donation as well as of two program courses to two different people, as well as a discounted thing code for other people. Billy Brown, Florida in the house, yeah. And I want you to tell the people your observation about Maya and Mike Perry that we were talking about earlier today.
Sure. Yeah, it's one of the. I actually wrote it on when Mike shared some where he was at and what they had a good time and all that good stuff. I chimed in and said pretty much the same thing, and I'll say it again because I think it's bears repeating, and that's the idea that at least from my perspective, and given that it's something I'm concerned about, you've got my business organization for martial artists, got it, but one of the things that was front and center was the love for martial arts, the importance of having a good program and for having that as a major concern for your business, because you can't have a business without that concern, because otherwise it doesn't matter what the business is, and then it loses its roots. But anyway, that last bit is Ty speaking, but it was very, very clear that a good martial program with a good martial interest and sharing that love that we all have for the craft is front and center for them. And I thought that was huge. Well done. Huge. And I think that's primary importance because that's, of course, where we all live. And I've met a couple people like that over the years, but not if I just hear there's a martial arts organization, that's not going to be the thing I'm normally going to jump to as them realizing, because it's all well and good to say, hey, the martial aspect is assumed, but Mike was very careful to touch back to that. Hey, this is important and why. In between, concentrate on the business discussion, so you don't assume it. But yeah, you do give credit that's part of your interest. But there's touch points to make sure that way you don't lose your focus. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know who Mike Perry is, I mean, you've heard us talk about who he is, but let me share a picture with him. So here he is with one of our black belt candidates doing Panantukan.
Out there training pretty much the whole time in between breaks. I mean, yeah.
It was funny because so he has been on this weight loss program. He has dropped like 40 pounds.
He looks good.
He's looking good. Mm-hmm. Well, someone said it gave him a set of gi pants, and it looked like Jared from Subway. You're like, oops, got the wrong size.
There he is talking to the crew.
Yep. Getting in. That's Mike Perry.
Yep. And you can tell he's passionate as well, obviously, because he enjoyed getting out there and playing.
So what's going on here, just so everyone knows, let me go back to this one here. So last session, I ordered 5-sheet pizzas for the camp because we're going to do this. So these are all the school owners that are present. Mm-hmm. And everyone else, I had food set up so they can have tables as much as they want. Let me see here. Boom. Excited to learn from Maya. Yep. So Chris was the Canadian recipient of the Core 4. Mm-hmm. Just opened my new studio. Will be a benefit up here in Canada. Great informational session. Information session.
PG Craig.
Okay, great. So I went over some basics. Yes, and we are Tim Horton Donuts guys. Yeah.
Somebody who's another bald guy may have brought those at one point, okay, or the earlier batch.
So the rest of the crew is back there eating. Well, actually, I think a lot of them went out. Some other people went for different food.
So just among that group, we've got I missed it, but you got Ohio, Canada, Alabama, Florida, yeah, Canada.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. So right here,
Connecticut. So Florida.
Oh, that's Terzak. Okay, so we had the two Florida. So we had Terzak's Family Martial Arts. Jason is in London, Ontario. Craig is from Sudbury. Brock is from St. Mary's, PA. Yep. Dominic is from Avon, Connecticut. Right. Sam is Columbus, Ohio. Tim and Brad are both from London, Ontario. And then Peggy's right there from Alabama.
Yep.
Mike Williams from Salem, Massachusetts.
Yep, and May was watching in the back as well.
That's the arm of Chris Workman, who won the package for Canada. Mm-hmm. He's from North Bay.
North Bay, yeah.
And most people wouldn't know that. If you
Right.
heard of anything, you would have heard of Barrie. Basically, they're like 3-4 hours north of Toronto.
Right.
So had a blast. I mean, and there's the group photo. And
Yep.
everyone wasn't here at the time, unfortunately.
True.
I didn't get all of them. But this was our group photo this Saturday. And I'm listen, once again, our t-shirts, we're all wearing the same color, more or less. We look like a team. Look, a bunch of thugs.
Yep.
We're an MC. Modern. It's a modern crew. Modern.
All them bearded guys are scary.
Yeah. Yeah. So someone's messaging me. Let's see if that's important.
But anyway, it was a pleasure. A lot of times you think, oh, there's a business session, and maybe you're not interested. Even that discussion, even if you don't think you're into business, there was a lot of good discussion. So I would encourage folks to not presume and keep their minds open.
I'm going to talk about that in just a moment here. So right here, from left to right, May and Mike Williams.
Uh-huh.
In addition to Modern East, they do a phenomenal job with C-Lot, PG Chad, myself, Master Dominic Violante, PG Craig, yourself, and then Master Michael Perry.
Uh-huh.
I am planning. I haven't sent any letters to anybody. It's just I'm exhausted, absolutely exhausted. So
let's get the personal side. So one of the things I want to say about Mike, he's just a nice guy, which is on top of all this other stuff I said.
He's my personal consultant for Maya, and I love him. He's a great guy. Ever since I met him, I mean, he was the one that signed me up in the first place. I spend a pretty penny to be a member, but there's multiple tiers you can go in. Mm-hmm. It's an investment, and what I'm paying now, if they show me how to get 6 students, I break even. They've shown me how to get more than 6 students. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's the thing. When we look at things, don't look at the cost. Think about what it would take, like what the cost gets you or what you need out of that cost. So let's say it was it's a $2,000 yearly membership with them. That's what one student pays for my school classes. Mm-hmm. So if they get me one new student, if it was $2,000, it would pay for itself.
That stays, yeah. But yeah, that's if they're worth anything, they should be able to do that.
And it's not if they stay, if I can keep them to stay, because that's on me.
Sure.
I've seen people in the past, I joined this organization that didn't get me anything. Well, what kind of training did you do with them? Well, I didn't do any training. I'm like, well, how do you expect it to do anything?
Right.
So
contact him if you're interested in, he's got a breakdown of the tiers, all the things. I got some intro things.
So Mike Perry definitely reach out to Maya, reach out to him, let him know I sent you. I don't get a commission.
I was going to ask.
I wish I did, but I don't. And listen, they took care of me. Maya took care of me for the event. That's all I'm going to say. Unfortunately, Mike, he got in earlier. We probably could have brought him in a day later so he could have stayed for the full test. He left before the test. But at the end of the day, he needs time with his family too, like everybody else out there.
Yeah.
He got home Saturday night, got to spend the whole day Sunday with his family, and he should. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this. I know people are going to ask, well, why are you helping other people do good at Marshall business? I know what the answer is, but
a rising tide lifts all ships.
It really does. There's more than enough good folks out there to support everybody.
Sup TNT. Listen,
nice.
Real simple. We need to get the public awareness for martial arts as a whole, not just Filipino martial arts, all of us. Yep. So someone asked me, like, well, what if another school opened up? A third school So I'm going to sound like a snob now. I don't put BJJ schools in the same category as us because of the MMA sport and a lot of stuff that goes with it. I kind of put BJJ schools in its own unique category.
It's a different crowd usually.
They're special, and I think they need to be looked at differently. That's all. Mm-hmm. Like Jeet Kune Do is not Filipino martial arts, but there's Filipino martial arts in Jeet Kune Do.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say anything wrong there?
No.
It's a special category, So, but for me, the more schools that open up, the more it brings up awareness. The more people aware, it becomes less of a question whether or not they're going to train and more of a question of where they're going to train.
Right.
We have 1%, less than 1% of the population. If we double or triple those numbers, we'll have to open up martial arts schools like opening up gas stations. And
oh shucks.
Oh, here we go. A constant craving for episodes 355 and 404.
Nice.
Well said. Thank you, sir. Sorry to bail on you guys. Nice. I don't know who that is. Can you tell me who that is?
It's not showing.
Okay. Up. Got to jump off, gentlemen. Truly appreciate both of you and everything you've done for the martial arts and the martial arts. Right. Hashtag rising the sides.
There you go. There you go.
And Mike, we'd love to have you on the show someday. If we can make some things happen. We talked about it, actually. We can make this happen, but he just got home and he needs to take care of his family.
Yep.
What's up?
Nice.
So let's talk about something. So I was run down. I didn't have the diplomas. I did have black belts. I was beat up. I stepped up, did what had to be done. It wasn't the best in where I would want things.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing here is I realized, and this is the thing, I realized I couldn't change the situation. There was absolutely nothing I could do about the diplomas that I would be satisfied with. And that would haunt me. So I made an executive decision, and you guys, and you guys backed me on that. You thought it was a good decision. Actually, Chad walked in and said, "Yeah, we've decided that you're not doing diplomas, not even the temporary ones." Like that's good. Why? Because I already decided that.
There you go.
Let me see here. Tim sounds so relaxed because you missed my rant earlier. Actually, I think my rant, I was fairly relaxed on that as well.
I think so. I mean, I'm sure it'll be problematic in some ways, but yes.
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't problematic. I'm not saying that people aren't going to hate me for what I said,
right.
But I'm very relaxed.
There you go.
I wasn't talking about throat punching people this time.
Right.
And how the people are disgraced what Remy did and all this other stuff. I didn't say anything like that. But here we go. Hey, guys, how many 10th degrees are there in Modern Arnis that were all promoted by the founder, GM Terrell? Okay, so can we be a little more specific? Because Remy didn't promote anyone to 10th degree black belt. Let's start off with that one.
That is exactly true.
Okay. Steven Seagal was executive movie for 2 minutes. Executive
design movie. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll wait for Terrell to chime in on that one. So we went over a lot of Panatukan. We went over our knife daga drills. What did you go over? Because some of the stuff, unfortunately, I had to do admin work.
Yeah, I did some Sinwalis and adjustments there. I did trapping hands and some inserts. I did I did some left versus right tappy. There was something else too.
Wait, you did left on right tappy and you weren't a mott? Oh my goodness. No sarcasm there whatsoever. Our Ninth Don's executive decision movie.
Okay.
Okay. So the fourth. Okay. So now, I'm still waiting for Terrell to chime in to be more precise, so I know how to answer his question appropriately.
There you
We
go.
talked about stuff already. Like, hey, what are we going to do? How do you get set up? So what we're going to do is we're going to zip over to the World Modern Arnis Alliance.
I think Dean was talking about episode 221. I believe that's the most requested episode.
Would that be you?
Oh yeah, gosh. I've got to memorize this because when others say the wrong numbers, I know they mean.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's not 355.
Right.
So right here we go. So what I always have up here, already have on the website, is we have the Modern Arnis Instructor Camp, where we set things up in a classroom mindset with a physical workout as well. Oops, I got a bad link here. I got to figure out what's going on there. But the nice thing here is, and we got our schedule up here, and we got a countdown 143 days. You hit over here, and lo and behold, last year's URL is up there, which means I have to change something, which is why it's good I go through and do these things.
Aha, okay.
But on the, let me check right here. So I just uploaded this. Here we go. So I need to change one of the URLs, not both of them.
There you go. I really like this particular camp, just to focus on the development of instructors. I really like that.
So this is coming up. This URL is bad as well. I'll have to fix both of them. It's not a big deal. All right, so here we go. I'm going to get out of this. But here's a nice thing. I'm doing this stuff now so I can get all the details right before the October date. So this is our September 29th to October 1st. The description is, no, that's right. So this URL is 100% correct. It's the other one that's not, which is that one. So the one link needs to be updated. Not a big deal. All right.
Mean looking guy in all those pictures.
Yeah, he's got, I don't know. We should get rid of him. Should we bump him off?
We should.
He's not a cool guy that's got ink.
We should take over from him. But no, you saw what the other part of Terrell's question was.
I'm about to pull that up right now.
Right.
So, what I'm getting at is that there are no 10th dans in Modern Arnis, and Remy never promoted anyone to that rank. How does 10th dan become okay?
I think we actually talked about that, I think, too.
Yeah. So I will sit there and say this. I wear the 10th dan for my organization. After Grandmaster Ernesto promoted me to 9th degree and Grandmaster in Combatant with the intent to promote me to 10th degree. He passed away in Combatant. When he promoted me, he goes, Tim, I cannot promote you in my brother's art.
Right.
Which meant it was different, but I can promote you in mine.
Right.
Which also means Roberto's art is different because it's not his brother's art. If anyone would have been able to do it, it would have been Ernesto, because Ernesto truly had a solid organization. But that's another story. Not to mention, Ernesto or Roberto to us. No, what? I'm not going to say it. Ty, what did Roberto talk to us about promoting people?
He said he wasn't going to promote people that he didn't train.
He wouldn't promote people he didn't train.
Right in his living room, he told us that.
He wouldn't promote people. So that opens up another can of worms there, doesn't it?
What was the highest rank that Remy promoted anybody, including
well, we didn't know about the Filipinos, but I think the highest rank in the Philippines was 7th, and that would be Jared De La Cruz.
I think that's...
Oh, no. Is that Jared De La Cruz? No, Cristina Vasquez.
Yeah.
I think, or he may have been an 8th.
I thought it was 8th myself. And then, of course, you had the 2 6ths here in the States.
So Bambit and the others, I think, were all 6th.
With Remy or 7th. With Ernesto?
With Remy. No, Remy did. Okay, well, okay, listen. I am going to trust the Filipinos, but I've got no confirmation that Remy did this, but I do trust what I was told by the people I was told. I know Bambit was promoted to a 6th.
That's I think I remember that.
But I think that was more of a cross rank because he was, I would say it's a cross rank because he studied with Ernesto.
Yeah.
He wasn't around. He trained with Remy on that one visit. So Remy would have Bambit.
Oh,
Yeah, one visit.
And Terrell also adds that Riddell got 8th from Remy. Is that true? I didn't know that. I don't know. I know that Riddell got the later ones from a different group. I just don't know. But but you're right though. We didn't know a lot about the Filipinos.
No. Okay, I'll say this: there were no 9th and 10th degrees in the Philippines. Okay. So if I was the only student of Remy's that Ernesto promoted a grandmaster. Now, when it came to our organization, I go with the basic, my mindset. This is Practice Arnis, or it's the World Modern Arnis Alliance of Practice Arnis. Our organization, I wear the 10th. And with the program, it's because we're growing and we have people underneath us. It's not because I just wanted to be a 10th degree black belt. It's not the case.
Well, like anything, the higher ranks are really to enable the students.
We had Remy. I was the highest ranked American with active ranked American with modern. And then I was a 9th degree in grandmaster with Ernesto. We put the two together. And like I said, Ernesto had every intention on promoting me to GM. Now, I'm very specific. I use the brand. I use the GM for Practice Arnis. I'm upfront with what my rank was with Remy. And I will not use the term grandmaster when it relates to modern Arnis until either I'm the last one standing or the community gets behind me. We know the latter's not going to happen. I've already said publicly how I feel about the people who are walking around and doing this. And I think, like, if there's two people out there, with exception of myself, taking myself off the table here, that check the categories of being a grandmaster, it's Dieter and Kelly. But Dieter would be his NSI and Kelly would be DAV. Now, there's no question that modernists are part of both of those programs, but neither of those programs are representative of Remy's art as a whole. So as far as this other stuff, people are doing whatever they want. Some of these people haven't produced a master before, so I guess that's
probably what happened.
I lost you. Your camera's gone. I lost him. Hopefully he'll be coming back. Hello from Colorado. And he's back. No audio. Can you hear me? Oh, wait a minute here. There we go. I can hear you now.
Are you talking?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I'll figure it out. I hit a cable. I don't know if folks can hear me or not. I have no idea. Let me see. Audio. You should be able to hear me. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I think that's right.
Can you hear me? Well, obviously he can't hear me. I'll say bad things about him. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I think I'm back.
Can you hear me?
Somebody can hear both of me, so that's good.
Can you hear me?
And I can't hear Tim. So this is going to be a great show.
All right, hold on. Can you hear me?
I kicked the cable. But don't worry, you do that. So I don't think it's anything you can do.
All right. Why don't you read this? Let me see here. Ah. We're gonna. His microphone is dead, or it must be his speakers are connected there. All right. Should a art or system die or cease to exist once the founder does? Isn't that against the founder usually wanted or a friend? I was going to say that again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I actually unplugged the speakers. That's why.
Okay. Hey, could you read this one? I'm not sure. My brain
Billy
is.
Brown. Should art or system die and cease to exist once the founder does? Isn't that against what the founder usually wanted, asking for a friend? No, that's true. I mean, how do you navigate that? Got it. I mean, so this is the thing. So, people are always going to do what they're going to do, and that's not nearly as important as really how it plays out. And that's where I think that I started my rant on, hey, who have you produced? If you're producing masters, then at some point it makes perfect sense to be considered grandmaster. All depending on circumstances and et cetera, et cetera. So I get it, right? Because there was when there were no martial artists, there was somebody training. He was not grandmaster. He was not the head of anything. He just was. And then a structure started organically growing, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Remy didn't start as nobody gave him a grandmaster rank.
Yeah, let's start off with this here. As far as Bill goes, I'm gonna pull up his other comment next. Bill, the grandmasters pull it off because they're the grandmasters, and doesn't mean the students are capable or interested in doing the same. So, what my rant was earlier today is there's some of Remy's students that are handing out promotions willy nilly, left and right, which, in my personal opinion, they're not qualified to promote anyone, and they haven't done the work, and it dilutes the quality of the black belts been giving out by groups like us who put time, effort, and everything into it. So here's the next last. Here we go. That's the rest of his comment.
Yeah, so it's bad when a great art and a system becomes less important than paper accomplishments and titles. Rank is awarded for time put in and what a person has been given back, and that person sacrifices and mission. That is real rank. Yeah. What are you really doing? Is it doing or claiming or doing or posing, doing or whatever? That's where I'm coming from. And who am I judge? I'm not a grandmaster. Never claimed to be. Not going to. But we live in that realm, so we have to address what our preferences are and why. So that's where I'm coming from.
Okay, so Terrell, I don't know what, when, where, why, how, but I do know I was in Arnis Village before it shut down. And the only thing I had a picture of was a 6th degree diploma.
What's the date on that? I can't see.
It's
80 something or another.
Well, it's kind of blank.
It says something 180 blah blah blah.
There's nothing here.
Yep.
And there's no expiration date on it.
Well, good. I mean, yeah, that happens.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. I mean, okay, so I'm still working on it because I actually went to Arnis Village.
Yep.
I almost died in Arnis Village because I did the gauntlet.
Okay.
And then after I did the gauntlet in 15 minutes, I asked an American who's there all the time. I'm like, how long does it take to do the gauntlet? Oh, maybe 3-4 hours. No wonder I'm passing out and dying.
There you go.
Probably
too small to read.
Yeah. Is that 86?
Looks like 86, yeah.
That's from Hoffman. Yeah, David Hoffman. He sent the diploma over.
Sure.
Yeah, so this was our 2011 trip. Yeah, this is what Arnis Village was.
Okay.
The remnants are still there. We drive by it when we go to visit his house.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
And as we've said before, we like. Well, I like Riddell. I think you still do. I love Riddell.
Yeah, Arnis Village. Yeah.
Where are we now in the comments? Though there's a bunch that have coming in since I ruined everything.
All right, so let's go here. I'm assuming said call him on the phone was probably me calling you.
Or vice versa. Yep.
Here we go. Did you read this one yet?
I did not read that one yet. The students of that founder are the ones who navigate it. Yep. And all of us who follow behind the second gen are under them, not the founder. So it always seems that it's good to see an art grow and took the direction that they seem is the way the founder would have wanted to go. No, yeah. And when it's done in good faith, that certainly happens.
Okay, and this one?
I can see someone being a GM at their school or of an organization, but you can't be the GM of a system. That's weird. I have the other opposite view. So GM is only for the whole system. That's why there's only one in my mind. I'm old school for Kung Fu.
So in Kombatan, okay, so here's the problem I have with what's going on right now, especially in the Philippines, because they're the catalyst for this. Many of the people that are representing modern Arnis are actually doing Ernesto Kombatan. In that Kombatan structure, 10th degree was great grandmaster, and then 8th and 9th are grandmaster.
Right.
That's not what Remy did. Now, and one of the things we talk about, like Dieter, using the DAV as the example, they're talking about all things Remy Praesis, but they're doing the Kombatan structure. They're doing the Kombatan material. They've added modern to the Kombatan material, and yes, Kombatan comes from modern, but not all of modern is in Kombatan and vice versa.
Sure, right. There's
and
things
just
that
because
Kombatan people do that we don't know.
And just because Ernesto was using the Kombatan name at the time you were training with him doesn't mean that that name is an accurate representation of the material you were being taught. The problem, Renee Tungsten and I did a lunch on his first U.S. trip. The Acosta brothers had hosted him in. And at breakfast, Richie was saying, we thought we were doing modern Arnis for the IMAFP, but it turns out it was all Kombatan. I go, and that's why the Americans have a problem with the IMAFP guys in the Philippines, because you're claiming you're doing modern Remy's art, and you're not. You're doing Ernesto's art. And words matter.
Right.
Okay, Grandmaster loves the run, right? Okay, race game.
So I think Riddell was one of the few that did not really do much under Ernesto. Is that right?
I don't think he did anything underneath Ernesto.
Yeah, so he, got what he got from Remy and kept going on his own, which is awesome.
Okay, I agree with both of you. It always surprises me that some do not. We are looking at second-gen students for leadership, not Remy or Lee or any founder who passed.
Right. Well, we have to.
Now, I think the Grandmaster can be a successor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I could be a Grandmaster for Modern Arnis. I think someone else could be a Grandmaster for Modern Arnis.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we'd all either Remy would have had to have named us, or we would have had to get behind that person. Okay. And based on what's out there and what the claims, I feel I fit the criteria, because a lot of people out there are making claims that are not. I'm seeing people who've retired from teaching in a dojo or a rec center, teaching out of their homes, and then getting promoted to Grandmaster in Modern Arnis. So, sorry, got an issue with that. Okay. Good evening. Hello, Mr. Terrell, or Danny Terrell. We love Danny.
Hey, Danny.
Coach Danny. I'm going to miss the satire stuff.
Sure. Yeah, we're behind. So.
Here we go. This is, if you don't mind.
Sure, I'll read it. So, especially since he agrees with me, at least for part of it. Let's see. Terrell says, I agree with Ty. I need that in writing. Oh, it is in writing. Okay. There's only one GM of the system, but you stated if you are producing masters, then the next level, I think, would be GM of his school, but not of the system. But you can be handed down a system, to the GM of the system. Yeah. So in the old days, you had, there was students, teachers, masters, and grandmasters. If you weren't the head of the system, you weren't a grandmaster. Doesn't matter how senior of a master you were. That's how I look at it, and that's how I was raised. I'm not saying right or wrong, but I'm telling you my preferences.
Let me give you our secret on. So there's the grandmaster. There's one which was Geronimo, which is now his son, and then there was the master.
Right.
So there was only one GM and only one master.
Right.
So what we're talking about a lot is that how can you claim to be the grandmaster if you haven't even produced a master,
right?
Let alone produced a black belt.
Right. So it's kind of like to even be part of the discussion, you would think those things in there. I'm not saying that's a requirement or that's enough to make you a grandmaster. Don't get me wrong. That's from my perspective. Hopefully I laid that out there. So you're a master producing masters. That's awesome until you're the head of the system, and then you're grandmaster if that all works out correctly.
So I'm going to put it a little differently because I'm the blunt one.
Okay.
Of the family. And I'm more than happy to take the wrath of the martial art community when I say this. The Koreans ruined it all by starting giving everybody grandmaster titles.
I'm going to go ahead and step out and agree with
you can step out of the room
behind that. Yeah, I know. I agree with the sentiment behind that for sure.
When they started doing 7th degree grandmasters, and then now they were the first. Now George Dillman did the same kind of thing in DKI, and others have done. So then there's a bunch of people that and I have no problem if you want to sit there and say this guy has the same rank as me,
right?
But someone needs to be number one.
Well, and you know what that created? Then that created the need for GGMs and SGMs and all these other things. So you could do the thing of, hey, to be grandmaster, you have to produce masters. And then who's the head of the system? Maybe that's your SGM or your GGM. Okay, I get it. That's just an extra level that I wasn't normally considering. And I don't particularly like that, but I get it. And here's the thing, right? What do these ranks and titles matter? They only matter within that organization and system. Nowhere else.
Well, here you go. And I'm not directing this at Terrell because Terrell's our friend. Okay, when I say this,
he can handle being poked at, but yes.
Okay, why do you need a GM title? Okay, how did I got shit at this time too. I got shit at the symposium. How did I introduce myself, Ty?
Tim. I'm Tim. I do FMA. I do Modern Arnis, whatever it is that you say.
My name's Tim Hartman from Buffalo, New York. I teach Filipino martial arts. Sat down.
There you go.
I let my actions speak for me. I do not need a stupid ass title that means nothing to anyone in the room, or more importantly, because there was people there that wore the Grandmaster patch on their shirt, and lo and behold, that they couldn't cash the check they wrote by wearing the damn patch.
Right.
Okay, I said it.
Yeah, no, I always look at it as it's not even for you. If it is for you, then that's well, I'm going to say it's wrong from my perspective. Let's see, Billy Brown. That's the way it was done in old school TKD. To get master and grand, you had to produce. You had to give back. That is I like that.
And let me throw another thing about Taekwondo, though, and this is a little twist. There's multiple versions of Taekwondo out there that we don't understand, which is what started multiple grandmasters of Taekwondo, because they all went under the banner of Taekwondo, but they start their own. Is it they start their own kwans? I think that's
Kwan would be a school, right? Normally.
Yeah, but they have their own branch of the main, so you can be a grandmaster in that branch.
Right.
But okay, Sean Ritchie. Most people do. Yep. Too many. Yep. Silly names. Exactly. Actions. That shuts the naysayers up. Yep. Listen, I'll tell you right off the bat. I know I am confident to the point of arrogance. There's not a damn person out there that intimidates me on the floor when it comes to teaching. You name the list, I will teach with every one of them, and I'll guarantee you people will learn something from me and have a good time. Guarantee. Which is why, there we go, ITFWT, AT, yep. Which is why I travel so much teaching martial arts because I can produce, I can deliver. Ty goes to these events. This is not his profession. I see people who are in the profession, and he can teach circles around them. And he doesn't set himself up for this super high expectation. He goes in high. He's the nicest guy in the room. People never say anything negative to him unless they're intimidated by him, because, we know some people that want him to be their personal little sock puppet out there. But when they don't agree, they cry foul and say, hey, the thing here is we don't always agree. I don't give a shit. He's still my friend. I respect him. And because I respect him, I respect the right to a different opinion. We can talk about anything. And if it just got too heated, you know what we're going to do? What? We're not going to talk about that anymore.
Wait till the morning, whatever. Yeah. No, but why do we like our wives? One of the things, and our good friends in martial arts, they call us on our bullshit. And we do that for each other.
Yeah. Anyway. I have respect for both of you. There we go. Thank you. Brian, very true. Broke away from the Korean organization, has become the GM.
I don't think
he just broke away.
I think that's it. He was already had a vision in his own thing that he was doing. He already had so many, titles in competition that it didn't matter.
Let's put him in the room. Establish the Highlander rules. There could be only one.
There you go.
My money's on Tim. Oh, thank you. Here we go. And PBG Ty is always a joy.
Oh wow, thank you, sir.
I'm assuming
that's Mike.
I assume that means that I'm not. No. I know what that's about. It's about it.
Very good.
Love you, man. Not really. I don't know who the hell you are. No.
I think I was Mike.
Actually, I may have met him before.
Or it could be.
That's because you're adults. There we go. He says we're adults. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Being an adult. No. I like being a kid.
I never claimed that.
Okay, here we go.
I'm never going to grow up, but I don't mind being responsible. How's that?
Here we go. That's for you. That's a long one.
You can't be a grandmaster if you have no kids.
No, grandfather.
Grandfather when you have no kids, which means if you have no grandkids. And Datu, you're absolutely correct. It's the Koreans and the title is all bullshit. But the issue is, this is America. You have people claiming GM with no masters under them. So I use that title because it's so many claiming something they can't show. I never wanted to use it. But if you're legitimate, then you let those who don't know, right? It's one of those if you know thing. No, yeah, you were granted it. You didn't claim it. You didn't. It was no shenanigans. I get it.
Yep.
Just keep it only master. Oh, the only master is show enough. Yep.
Not true.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the.
I know he's talking about me saying that you're a pleasure and I'm not.
I see. Okay.
I followed that one. Ty, you're absolutely okay. Now, here we go.
Let's see. Oh, this one. I'm trying to figure out who that is. But anyway, now Hartman is busted my cookies because I wear a Grandmaster patch on my gi. Wah. Ty, stand up for me. My opinion on it. Don't like it. Don't look. Or simply ask. Yep. Let's see. That was Joe Rabella. That last one.
No, that wasn't you. Who I was talking. Joe, you should know who I'm talking about.
And then Dean Franco is the one that says, Ty, yes, absolutely. So I'm going to frame that and quote it, and I'll just use that whenever I want someone to agree with me. I'm just
don't forget Master Ken. Yep, there we go.
Use him saying, yes, absolutely, Ty. Hey, I'm getting a lot of good quotable quotes that I can use out of context. It's great.
You guys are really placating his ego tonight. I don't know what to
It's good. I could use that about now because work has been well, like I said, I needed to get a break, so I left early.
There you go. So
it was a pretty okay day today.
Ultimately, and this is not what today's topic was about. The review for the camp.
Right. Well, I made the point about all the good people. You talked about Mike, but I mean, there's a lot more we can talk about at the camp that we didn't get to yet. Sorry, guys.
So we had a great test. I had a whole bunch of my students testing for color belt and future considerations.
The kids knocked it out of the park. Everybody agreed on the board. Everybody on the testing.
So what we do is when we do a grading now is we have people being evaluated whether they're eligible for testing or not, because it's not necessarily for that weekend. It could be for a future event.
Yep.
So Ryan was on the floor. He got his 3rd degree last year. I wanted everyone to see how well he's progressing and what he's doing. That way people can give critiques. Hey, you might want to look at this one. And I think you guys got to see him as a leader because
Yeah,
He really doesn't take that role around me.
He led the floor better than I've ever seen him lead the floor.
So and then hey, Master
Mr.
Rich, how you
Rich,
doing?
awesome.
So and this is what I was looking for. Okay, so I found something. So one of the things that was very, very proud of is my Florida crew.
Yes, all of them.
One of which, Ernie McKinney. And the reason why I want to say I'm really proud of him, and this is, I couldn't find any photos prior. I think this is the first one. He's been with me literally for a decade, and he just earned his black belt. Never gave up, kept going his own tempo. When he was ready, he was ready.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, here's another reason why I'm proud of him. Somebody reached out to him, some guy that used to live in Buffalo, who's down there now. And after I did my first seminar, tried to start all this, that, well, since you're Karate for Christ or Taekwondo for Christ ministry at the time, tried to say all this nonsense about me to get him to not have me down anymore.
Mm.
So Ernie sent me the letter. I read the letter. I go, so what does that mean? Well, when you're available for the next visit. Because he judged me based on the things I said and done and not what others. Now,
You have to always judge for yourself. Even if I have a bias that I admit to someone, I say, hey, look, you got to see them and judge for yourself. I feel the way I feel, but you don't have to.
And I will say it, and you guys hear me say this all the time, you as in Ty and my board, and I say it here, we will bring somebody's name up, and the first thing I said, they've always been nice to me. I don't know how they are to others, but all I can comment is how they've treated me and talked to me. Sure. And that's all anyone can do.
Yep. Well, and keep in mind, too, I think it's a fair point to say, when it's public and it's when the students, I don't talk about anybody other than to say, hey, they train this stuff, you should check them out. Other than that, I don't say anything. When it's behind closed doors discussions, there's a little different thing. But again, I don't try to convince anybody because they have to have their own judgments.
I'm usually nice to Chris, not often though. No. Well, and okay, listen. So we talked about Brian earlier today. I'm going to use an example. Obviously, we know that I'm not a fan of Brian. We were at the Defense Lab conference. People came up, we're wearing our bull shirts, and we stuck out because they're all wearing black with the green Defense Lab logo. Right. And there's a whole bunch of us, Ryan Monolopoulos, Carl, myself, Chad, Craig, and we all have our Red Bulls on. Mm-hmm. And all the instructors were digging us because we had really good energy and I eventually taught. A guy came over and said, hey, that's a really nice shirt. Okay, that's cool. What do you guys do? We do Modern Arnis, Filipino martial arts. Oh, really? In the school I teach, Brian Zawolinsky's there. Do you know Brian? I go, yes, I do know Brian. We were classmates under Remy. Mm-hmm. That's where I left it.
Sure.
Well, I didn't say anything negative, and I didn't say it in the way of, oh, yeah, we were classmates. No. I was like, hey, we're classmates. I think I said, good guy, because he's training with him. He likes him. Who am I to say anything about my relationship with Brian? Now, if we got to know each other and all this other stuff, hey, any chance we should have you guys working together? I would be like, listen, I'd be open to doing something at that time. Brian and I don't see eye to eye. Or like now, yeah, Brian and I don't see eye to eye. I just, not a fan. Don't want to deal with it. My problem is my problem was with him. It's not with you. Our problems shouldn't be your problems.
Yes.
That
is key. But that's the professional way to do it. I mean, no one's going to get along with everybody.
Kelly Warden and I have butted heads. Chad and Craig have gone to those camps and been treated very nicely by Kelly, because Kelly and I have this, no matter what we're thinking of each other at the same time, the one thing we always say is the problem between Kelly and I is between Kelly and I. Now we're getting along. Okay. We're getting along. But the thing here is our problems are no one else's business.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go here. Terrell,
Let's see.
lead
Oh,
this
Terrell's
radio.
taken off, so he's probably gone by now. But what does he say? Dr. Tim and the wonderful PG Ty. I must sign off. Get up at 4, so take care of my friends. God bless you both. Great show tonight, like every
Okay.
other. Please keep doing what you do. I appreciate you both. That's awesome. Thank you, sir. I know you can't hear that, but
Yeah. Who was
that's
there?
Carl. That's Carl Outram.
And Carl Outram, who couldn't
Good.
make it because he had mechanical difficulties with his car, and we missed you, brother.
Missed you a lot, sir. Dang it! I wanted my Bayesian hug, man.
Yeah, and Ernie got his black belt this weekend. So we had 14 people pass our black belt evaluation. We had 1 third degree. Was it 3 second degrees?
I think that's right. Maybe 2, but 3.
2 second degrees. So
2 or
that's
3.
3. We had 1 plain Lacan, and the rest were ESAs. And then a purple belt promotion from someone, which would have been second high green, but the old methodology.
Yep.
So happy for Ernie. Yep.
And none of this was rubber stamped. So just to know, we had some good discussion. We asked to see things, and again, we were watching the whole weekend long.
You know, they all performed.
Yep.
They all performed, and that's the whole thing. We are not.
And there are no provisionals. Everything is on the up and up. There's no,
you know,
promise this, we're doing that. None of that.
No. I had a bunch of my kids test, and I postponed the test, so they were actually eligible to go up for 2 color belt ranks, very much like Remy would do.
Yep.
Yes, it was awesome there, Brian. And they all knocked it out of the park. And then we do the usual, hey, does anybody want to show something? And one of my kids, Evan,
right,
comes up and says, yeah, I'd like to do something. I'd like to do Super Senwali. And Nick Terzak from Terzak's Martial Arts stepped up, and he was like the hero of the day.
Nick brought out a lot of good stuff in Evan. But the other thing is, I'll say this about the Terzaks. They've got amazing skill in their art. But you know what? They did not rest on those laurels. They actually, it was clear, they put in the work to work on this material for this purpose, not saying, hey, I'm master level in this, so yeah, give me something. None of that. They put in the work, and it was very clear. And they were reviewing and getting prepped. It was kind of like the old days that you used to see some of us doing that same thing. So kudos to them. There's my nice shout out, and hopefully they're not watching because I don't want to embarrass them because they're so sensitive.
I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do, fine tuning for next year's camp, but I'm very pleased with everything, And the only downside was Bobby Tabata had his camp this weekend, or seminar up in Toronto.
Yeah, I didn't see too much about that. Did you find out anything more?
Yeah. They had a good showing. I was actually Joe Apostle just messaged me, but I was bummed out because it was the same weekend. I would have supported the event.
Good deal.
I love Bobby, and I would have loved to have gone up and visit, but there's only so much you can do. But we had.
Oh, our friend down a little more southerly has a bunch of points here.
Rodent.
Yeah, and they're
okay. There you go.
Yeah. So I met Datu in 2002. I enjoyed the workshop so much. Went and trained again in 2003. The workshop was set up in full circle by the end. By the end of it, together in 20 years, sure it is better. So I agree he can. Oh, with the next one, teach toe to toe. The class was moving, not listening to stories like most seminars. Yeah. And then he had me. I gave him some information on which I call pain on a bicep block in 2018, and for some reason he thinks that was okay.
Okay.
Cool. Hey, I'm all about the pain. I am not about the damage. Well, I mean, in teaching.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, my mindset is I tell my students, when it comes to apply the craft, my goal is to cause as much pain as humanly possible to get them to stop without causing permanent damage.
There's a reason they say pain is a great teacher. All of that information being so loud will make you learn really fast, but we don't need any damage. Nobody needs that. We got jobs, we got families, we got lives. There's no reason to have any damage.
Well, even if you're being attacked, I mean, my mindset, if someone attacks me, I still try to cause as much pain as humanly possible to get them to stop. But once again, it's not about permanent damage.
Sure. Oh,
and there we go.
Yep. Pain is information. There might be damage, and we want to make sure that we're on the right side of that. Pain is just information. It's not a function of the of your movements. It's a function of warning, beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop you from doing anything.
All right.
Damage is awesome and make it permanent. All right, Renee. I get it. There are certain circumstances where I'd be right there with you, but we don't need to go down that.
Yeah, no.
For the same circumstances where I think cool.
Yeah, because we like our homes and the nice things we have.
There's that, but there are such things that I say there's no such thing as cruel and unusual punishment. So those would be perfect candidates for that.
Yeah. So, we started the camp. We did a pre-conference workout, which was good. We did the main camp. We had the lunchtime meeting with Master Perry.
We had great C-lot.
Phenomenal C-lot and cane. Everyone enjoyed the cane workout.
Absolutely. Two cane sessions, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Dominic's such a nice guy.
Dominic was great.
And he is Grandmaster now, right? In his art.
He's GM.
Yep.
We ran about Grandmaster,
but he's not claiming it. That's in his organization.
Right.
He
was promoted to GM.
Right. And I have no problem with that. Within an organization, if it's clear and that's what's given, easy peasy.
By someone with the authority.
Right.
There we go. Yep. So, once again, my GM title comes from Combaton. That's the structure inside of Combaton. It came from the founder.
Yep.
So, boom. I didn't self-promote. My title is Dot. And the thing here is, I use my Datu title all the time. I use that more than any other title because that's the one that means the most to me. Mm-hmm. And actually, I think sometimes. Actually, I don't think sometimes. I view my Datu title to supersede the GM title because of how often people are giving those damn titles out. Especially, Remy handpicked 6 Datus.
Mm-hmm. There's only 6. There were only ever 6.
Yes, there was only ever 6, no matter these people doing these silly things. And now there's like 20 Grandmasters of Modern Arnis.
Is it? Certainly a lot more than Datu, that's for sure.
So I feel that myself and those who receive Datu, our titles are worth more than the 20 GMs or the equivalents thereof.
It's certainly rarer. And the cool thing is direct from Remy. You and I both value our whatever we got directly from Remy, or in my case, the request to test. I value that a lot. Never going to forget.
And here's the thing, like Remy promoted me in 99 to Datu. Mm-hmm. I accepted in 2000.
Yep.
You tell me that he wanted you to test and you had a broken hand and you didn't because you had a broken hand. He said, don't worry about it, which really means he's telling you he promoted you for all intents and purposes.
And the very next year I had the same problem. I had to get re-surgeried, and so I turned him down again. So, but whatever.
So,
Renee Growler just promoted Craig to 11.5th degree. Ultra black, not just regular black. Ultra black in Dog Brothers. All right, Renee. Okay. I'm printing that out. That's a certificate I'm going to send him. You have to sign it, though.
Oh, yeah, there we go. And Datu is just such a pimp title.
Except for when people pick on it that don't know better.
Datu D2. Yeah. Okay, so.
Datu D2. I'm Datu.
That's so old.
That's right.
That's so old.
I was going to claim Da1.
I was going to say Datu.
That's right. All I know is I'm Datai. That's what Remy called me. I could be Datai, but I don't like the way it translates, so let's not do that.
So,
no, now we're getting silly. So what else do we want to say about the camp?
So the next year is going to be the last weekend of April.
Yes, right. So it's 1 week earlier calendar-wise.
Yep. So that's good. We've already got most of the stuff up there. The Facebook announcement's already been put up there, the active link. I just got to change the website. Make sure I get the accurate.
Are we doing a deep dive with us 4? Or are there other people, or that's just for right now? That's what we know.
What?
I saw that.
So the goal is to have Carlos. Okay, so the guest instructor who's been invited but has to check his schedule is Grandmaster Carlos Patalinghug, who's been on the show. I have to see about the Williams. I would like to have them back.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, everybody, it's all about logistics. It's not about. It's never about who I want to have there.
And we are now. It is official, right? We're doing the CLOT module. If people are interested, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Can you take point? Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I have to. Make.
So yeah, Mike and May have put together a good, accessible and legitimate module from all their CLOT training, and they have a lot of lineages back there. And just everybody agreed at the camp that their skill, just as it always does, it shows. But some people hadn't seen it before. Anyway, they put together a CLOT module for those interested within WMA, and I think they're going to be the progenitors behind that. And I'm really excited about it because it's got a lot of good connections, and he tells you exactly. They both tell you exactly where it's coming from and how it works. It was really neat to see people that had never even moved remotely like CLOT do that and come up with the applications and get walked through. Mike is a good resource. We're glad to have him. But if you get a chance to train with him, even outside WMA, do that. He's you should take advantage.
He's got a lot of good stuff in Modern Arnis as well. Because
definitely, yes.
So we're doing FMA Invasion 3.
He's one of our PGs in Modern, right?
Yeah, yes, he is.
Yeah.
So we're all going to be together in October in Salem.
That's right. They're hosting the FMA Invasion 3 that you just said.
Yep. So I'm waiting for some photos for other guys. Tim Gillette's going to be one of them. I'm looking forward to that.
Very good.
Hey, Craig, if you're still on, Janice commandeered the flashlight you gave me. So if you can get me one, I'll give you money for it.
There you go.
I think that was my birthday present, but the boss decided to take it. She commandeered it.
We did a lot of other things you didn't mention. We did a lot of pad work with Sinwales, and also the covers and the flows and the jab catch jabs. Lots of good stuff with that. Several good sessions on different aspects and different rollovers with trapping hands. So it's not just a static drill, and you can use it for a lot of different things. Sombrata, right? Somebody did Sombrata.
That would be me.
Yep, that somebody guy. Yeah. Anyway, lots of good stuff, and there was more too, but it was jam-packed several days.
I will say that I feel a little that I could have done a better job, and I think there's a lot of factors that were beyond my control, and I'm already looking to get those in checks, which goes back to last week's show. I think that everyone enjoyed themselves no matter what. It's just that my personal satisfaction, what I saw, my vision for everybody and what I wanted, I think it was good. I know there's room for improvement, and I plan on making that come to fruition.
There you go.
That's weird. My computer's getting squirrely.
That was Carl Outram that says love CLOT.
Yeah.
And Brock's already got on his next year's calendar. Yes, everybody do that. We talk about our year's planning calendars. I think what I used to do back in the day, and we'd pull out our Inside Kung Fu or Karate Illustrator or whatever it was. We'd mark when the things we want to do on a calendar and keep track of that.
I've already got, actually, in many cases, I have 2 to 3 years of stuff in advance on my calendar
for the big stuff.
Not that that it's going to be locked in.
Right.
It's a tentative thing.
You're tracking it. Yeah.
Well, there's
like the Philippines trip, right? That's something you have to plan pretty far out. So that's a year and a half out, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if everything goes right, I'm in the Philippines. Oh, son of a bitch! Oops.
But we can still hear you and see you.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
My monitor went dead because I took my phone off and yeah.
So it's not just me. Good.
This one was me. So I was worried because Bobby Tabata did his seminar this past weekend, and there was like nothing listed there. I'm like, I hope to God people showed up, because
Wait,
usually everyone's posting stuff. I mean, like, I got to realize that I'm OCD about posting online.
Not everybody is, or some things it gets overwhelming, and so it doesn't come out for a couple days. So this was at a different person's location, right?
Yeah, he was up in Toronto, and it was hosted by someone who normally doesn't host it.
Okay, so that's makes sense.
So it was a decent size. The numbers were in the 30s.
Okay, good.
I think maybe 40s. Let me see. Okay, what's this? Matt Jones is asking a question. I'm looking.
Could the title? This is Matt asking. Could the title of .2 be considered and or the equivalent rank of SGM? If you wanted to, but we have a story about SGM that'll have to be shared in private.
No, we can share it. We can tell the story.
Well, I guess I mean, it doesn't matter who said this, but it is. Well, no, we can't. I would.
No. We can just talk about the initial portion.
Right. Somebody who's way
Somebody we were talking to in the Philippines said, Tim, there's this SGM now. I go, or SGMs in general. I go, what, Supreme Grandmasters? I go, no, stupid Grandmasters. I go, really? Right.
So a lot of them being his students, and now they outrank him.
And now they outrank him. Yeah. But he goes, I don't care, as long as they buy their sticks from me.
There you go.
And that's it. We're not telling any more about the story.
So somebody was mentioned, Tim Gillette was mentioned. Where will he be at?
Okay.
That was Joe Rabello. It's killing me that I have to look back at the post, but they do come in slowly.
So Joe, FMA Invasion 3 will be hosted by Mike and May Williams in Salem, Massachusetts on October 7th.
Nice.
The list will include the core that was okay. It will include Steve LaFave, Dean Franco, Mike Williams, maybe Mike and May are a pair, so I don't put them. She may or may not do it because she was thinking about dropping out, depending on the time wise.
Okay.
Ty Botting and myself. In addition to that, Tim Gillette, Sifu Alex, and Grandmaster Ben something. I don't know Grandmaster Ben.
Well, and I'm going to do one real quick plug along those lines. So for anybody who, we always say Mike and May Williams like they're a pair, and they are. They teach phenomenally together. But beware, if you get a chance to just train with May, you should. She's mean. She knows her stuff, and she's good. Just like if you get a chance to just train with only Mike, you should do that too. They are both forces to be reckoned with in their own right. So
speaking of which, Ty, I expected some kind of demo from somebody because they were supposed to be doing something with May. What happened with that?
Oh yeah. Remember, so I mentioned that I was feeling muted from work. It didn't have the rhythm I needed to do the demo, but we talked about it maybe on the 7th of October.
It's still a surprise.
Yep, we talked about it. I think we'll be able to do it.
I'm gonna set an alarm in my phone to remind me to ask you when we're there.
It's just a dorky little demo, but it should be fun and
okay.
Somebody will laugh, probably at me, not with me, but that's okay.
Well, if you need that person, I'll be your Huckleberry.
There you go. I'm sure everybody will sign up for that.
Because I can't disappoint you.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just think it's cool that she wanted to do something like that because she's awesome.
So 2009, I think, was the last of the Delaware winter camps.
Mm-hmm.
And we're bringing it back. So that's one of the new events. The Delaware winter camp's coming back.
Yeah, so that's 2 camps a year in that area.
Yep. So you're teaching at the next one. It's you and PG Ty along with Chad Berger and Iron Tree, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Jeff Berger, Chad, PG Chad, myself, and Iron Tree, Dave, Sink Beetle. And those guys, that's a great lineup to be a part of. So I'm honored and pleased for sure. Gosh, any one of those could be teaching a whole lot of stuff anyway. So it'll be a blast. It's always at that good location that we were in Delaware, Hockessin.
Okay. All right, cool.
So Brock's going to October. He says, "Good. I get more Brock hugs."
We like Brock hugs. Do we like Brock hugs?
I think so. Well, he also, he's so Rico and suave too.
I mean, he is the most stylish Silent Bob you'll ever meet.
That's right. Yes, he's sexy Silent Bob.
What is going on here?
And Rodent says, I told Master Parsons, as long as you keep my school clean, you can use my dojo in Michigan. I am 40 minutes from Windsor.
Yeah, yep. We
Well, now he's going to start giving away who he is.
I know. I know who he is.
We know who he is. Yes.
But I want to keep it on the QT.
We could do that, or on a weird day, what we could do is have him on the show blacked out.
Okay.
Nice. Yep. He's going to Salem. Good.
I tell you what, get to Buffalo. Unless you're doing a family trip, but get to Buffalo, you can just ride along.
Sure, that'd be good.
I'm not sure if Craig's going to that or not. Craig?
I don't know if he's still on.
Mason? Craig Mason? Bueller? Ferris?
I think he and Workman might have disappeared.
Yeah. So, no, I listen, I think very upset with my website right now. Trying to fix it while I'm talking to you guys. Needless to say.
Always multitasking.
Yeah.
I do that a little bit too. I need to stop.
It's a plug-in issue.
Oh, Workman's still here. Good.
Workman's still here.
When you need to come down, visit me, Worky. I need to show you, the capital of the America.
America.
It was good to see him again. I always like seeing Chris.
Way too long. Yeah, I actually just got my tickets for MayaCon.
Oh, good.
So,
when is that?
So that's the weekend of your camp.
Oh, okay.
So MayaCon is the big show in the Maya Super Show is no longer, at least it's gone for a little bit. That was the big Vegas thing. Well, it's going to be at the U.S. Open, which is like the martial art tournament that ESPN covers all the time. So I just got my plane ticket. So I've got everything. The only thing I need to get is a rental car, and I've got everything covered. The only downside is I fly home from that. I'm home for a day or two, and then I fly to Austria. But it's 4th of July week, so we're shut down.
Nice. Where are you at in Austria?
Graz. So it's like it's right by the Glock factory, evidently, in comparison to. So maybe I'll come home with a souvenir or two. Probably not, because I'd probably get arrested.
Do I know who's hosting you in there?
Perry. Perry Zerg.
I don't think I know them. Okay.
Not Perry Zerg. Perry.
So Brock says his ladies probably want to explore Salem, the witches and all that stuff.
Okay, all right. Well,
but if not, he'll take you up on it.
Very smug, yeah. Okay.
There you go. And Chris, yeah, sure, anytime. My home is your home, brother. And there's that family thing again.
So the thing that our event really has is that family feeling.
Mm-hmm. And inclusion and energy. Yeah. So one of the, who was it? I think one of the Terzaks, or maybe it was Mike Perry, talked about the fact that, hey, you can have focus and working hard while still being relaxed and not regimented. And, just like Remy's camps would do. So good.
Yeah, when is PG?
So the next one is, I don't know when, somewhere around October, November, the fall fling. Yeah, I need to set that up. So good reminder.
Don't worry, guys. I pester him to get that up there so I can put it up on the website.
That's right. And I've lately been dragging it. To be honest, when I'm more stressed, it takes longer. Sorry.
It is what it is.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just double checking this. Oh, wait a minute. What did I just do? Did I do the right thing? Okay, I screwed up completely. Go figure.
I need to get that in writing too, so I want to use that out of context.
Well, it's on this. Okay, so if you go okay. The instructors camp is when I was going to. I was wrong. So let me go right here. I know I've got this one right. is about getting stuff right. I have to prove that I can do it.
All right, good. Let's see.
So I already have next year's camp put up. We just changed the dates because it was supposed to. I need to change it here.
Uh-huh.
But if we go into here,
mm-hmm.
it has the dates right there.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just need to change it on the website. If you go to the Facebook page, it's got it. So I'm gonna while I'm doing this, I'm going to fix this tonight right now because it will annoy me otherwise, and then I will not be doing. Ty the Sporting.
What?
I don't know. Here we go.
Could I laugh at you? Oh, could I laugh at you? Especially if that hairdo that Ty is sporting. I see. Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. Funny, not really. But anyways, it's one of Dominic's guys, so you can blame Dominic for that. We always play Dominic. Let me see here. Do I have this? So I need to edit this. So I'm actually feeling good. We had a blast. We're looking forward to improving next year's event.
Yep.
Which I'm going to do because I always look on how to make things better.
And we're talking about, what to do about tests and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about trying to maybe shorten the event in days, but still offer the same amount of session. I'm not going to do that now.
Same amount of time on the mat, yep, or more.
I'm not going to force that.
Sure.
Because there are things that we added I think are very good and crucial, and I want to keep.
Yep.
Having my black belts or my students coming in, everyone's excited about going to next year's camp, including like the teens.
Yep. Well, I think you should always have an evaluation because that gives you the leeway to do whatever you want to do as far as recognition or promotion or delayed promotions, that kind of good stuff, and make it at a gathering.
But I think overall, I said, I think I'm going to keep the event structured the way it is, just fine tune what we're doing. Once I get the fine tuning down, then I can look at if we want to get rid of Sunday as a whole. Sunday we had a blast because afterwards I took a bunch of people up to Niagara Falls, and I actually did stuff that I've never done. I walked behind Niagara Falls.
Oh yeah, wow, cool. On the Canadian side or
on the American? We were on both, so we did both sides. I actually took everybody.
Canadian side is where you look at it, and the American side is where you do that, I guess. Okay.
Well, actually, we were behind the Canadian Falls.
Okay.
And then we were at the base of the falls. We were looking up. We got real wet. We were wearing not body bags. That's what I told. They're plastic. They're basically garbage bags with a hood.
Didn't you fall over the falls too? I saw that picture.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's see here. Did I see myself going over the edge of the falls?
I can't bring it up, but I'm gonna pass on this note. Maria Aquino says happy birthday to him.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Managayan Karawan.
Oh, that could have been me falling over the falls.
Pretty good. That's even a pretty reasonable overacting face.
I was on the American side.
That's good.
Because I wouldn't want them to have to go through all that hassle bringing my body back.
There you
go. No, but listen, I was very pleased with the camp. I know I could do better, which is the stuff that annoyed me. I was really seriously concerned whether or not I'd be able to perform or not because of the way my body was. So I was pleasantly surprised on how much the treatment affected me in a positive way. Still got a ways to go.
I mean, I only heard good things from everybody about all the sessions, even yours.
Even mine. It's good to know that even mine are okay.
That's right. But I mean, that's a good thing at any camp you're going to. It doesn't matter who's doing it. You want to have that feel to where, hey, everything was value added. So that's a win.
Yeah.
For the attendees, which is the most important thing.
Yep. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. If everyone had a blast, and even you know, and like I said, I had because of me being off, I had a moment, and I fixed said moment. And you know, I mean, because at the end of the day, we're all gonna make
We're all humans, and
yeah,
sometimes that can turn into a bonding thing, right? So somebody, you've seen it all the time, right? It's a guy thing, right? So two guys get in a fight, and then they become best friends. So maybe that could even be better in the long run if it's played right.
you know. And I wanted, like I said, for everybody, you know, I'm a very passionate person about what I am. I'm very visceral about this. Yeah, it was it was a good deal. Yeah,
Except that Danny Terrell wasn't there.
yeah. Now if Danny would have been there.
That's right. We've had him on the show. He might as well.
Yeah. Okay, so that's done. Yeah,
Can
so
I
I got
invite
that
him?
up.
Can I invite him sometime to be maybe a special guest if he can make it?
I think you just did.
All right. Well, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Now, don't extend yourself over much, but yeah, that would be great. You are more than welcome, brother.
All right, we'll talk if you want to come up. I gotta check with our other PT friend because I'd like to have him on the show, providing his life is a little more stable. But we'll talk about that after the show.
Okay. All right.
All right. Wow. There we go.
There you go. And Dan, speaking of weird titles and stuff, what does Danny go by? Coach. And he's got
Coach
same with
Danny.
Jeff Berger. They both have crazy amounts of experience and they go by coach because that's their role. That's what the only thing that matters because it's about the students. Got it.
Listen, I've said this. Love to make it. That'd be great. I'm hoping to make one of these camps one of these some days. Yeah. So So at headquarters, there's two camps. There's the spring camp, which is usually either last weekend of April, first weekend of May.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the instructor development camp, which is the end of September this year. It's September 29th to October 1st.
Where you do both the material, like a normal camp, as well as the teaching of said material. Talk about that stuff, the craft.
So we have tables set up, areas with notebooks. We take notes. We get up. What does it mean in the curriculum when you have this written down here?
Right.
Talk about it, write notes, get up, footnotes, go back, do the same thing.
Yep. Standardization, but still putting in the work.
There is just as much training.
Yep.
And there's actually probably less break taking because you're sitting down taking notes, and that's kind of a quasi break.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
And like we have no schedule, so we might go downtown to get food for a couple hours and come back and go to wee hours of the night because we need to get our training.
No, that is great stuff. PTI Spring Camp down in the far south. Open invitation. Thank you, sir.
All right, cool. We'll have to, we'll talk offline on those.
Yeah.
Talk some details. So I'm going to put that on my calendar right now. Hold on.
There you go. See, real time.
See, that's how we do shit.
Oh, now our well-oiled machine that looks like these are giant productions ahead of time is that illusion is shattered. Oh wait, we don't have that illusion. Not with the technical difficulties we've had today.
That's Nolan's.
Yep. No, I would love to make it down. Plus, I miss being down there. And I was reminded of that with our friend Peggy being from Alabama, just a taste of the South brought up, which was nice. I'm not Southern, but that's, I guess, where I identify the most with. Probably had most of my time growing up there.
All right, so it's on my calendar.
There you go.
We will have the three of us should have a conference call on that.
Sure.
Yeah, just like airports, stuff like that, accommodations, blah blah blah. Make sure we're all on the same page.
I'm starting to accumulate points, so these things are a little more doable than they used to be.
Yeah, I was just about to use my points for the trip to Orlando, but I have a companion ticket. It wouldn't let me use it. So I know I can pretty much fly anywhere in the U.S. now with this. So, and I have to go all high end because I get free upgrades. If it makes Ty feel better.
It's his religion to have hair. Smooth as a baby's butt.
That's a choice. By the way, Ty is not bald. He shaves his head.
Yeah, you can see a little bit. I shaved for the camp.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Oh, it's pretty thin, but yes, it's still there.
Hair is still hair, whether it's 1 or 100. It's still one.
There you go. Or one really, really, really fine one.
All right. So listen, I think it's time we wrap things up.
We went way over, but we're having fun, so I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Let's get together. Yep. Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I've got shit. I mean, I'll leave Monday. Okay. What am I promoting next? Brazil. We're down there. Look at the website. World Modern Arnis. Thales is hosting us. We're in San Juan as well as
2 places.
Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, nice. Brazil,
So,
where the nuts come from.
We're the Brazilians. What do they call them in Brazil? They call them
Brazil,
nuts.
they call them nuts, yes.
Yeah. So I'm looking
No,
forward.
that'll be fun. I'm jealous. That'll be fun. You and Craig and anybody else?
Nope.
Okay.
Carl was supposed to come, but things didn't work. I mean, we all got life craziness going on, and kind of didn't.
I'm actually. There's one last thing about the camp. Guess who showed up at the end of the camp?
Will Hartke.
Our old friend Will Hartke. Yes.
Out of the blue.
Yep, that was great.
And he's been in town for a while. Just damaged from a motorcycle accident. So.
Yeah. Well, these are the cool things, right? With a family feel, you can get nice surprises like that, which is cool.
Yeah, and that's I and I'm looking forward to hang out with him more.
Yep.
Because I missed him, and
training buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we would be at the school at 6 a.m. to train.
Excellent.
And then we were doing Technique Tuesdays. We were putting them up there. I don't think I'm doing that anymore for a while because I like my sleep. Because my nocturnalness is kicked in, if that's a term.
With that hostage tape, you should be sleeping more better.
Actually, I gotta get some because hostage tape is anti-snoring tape, for the record. No one's taking me hostage.
Right. I sleep better. My wife sleeps better. So yeah, it's pretty neat. And they're not paying me now. Thanks, Steve and Eric, though, for your comments. Appreciate that you guys are enjoying the random sharing of other stuff as well as an in-between recap of the camp.
I have no clue what we're going to talk about. Maybe
in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Why don't we talk about Remy Pracis and the organization known as the IMAF after he moved to the States?
Could do that.
And
the other things happen around the same time. You already alluded to 2 of them, but yeah.
Hey, how long did it take you to get your hostage tape?
Really quick. It was like a week, I want to say.
I won't have it in time for the trip.
5
to 7 days. I'll still get it.
Yeah, I meant to leave you some, but I didn't end up doing that. Sorry.
I was going to give you all the stuff I had, but well, listen, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. We were having like 27 people watching at any given moment.
Well, I think even though we went all over the place, we had good energy and good involvement, and both of those things help, I think.
Yeah. And I'm waiting to hear about everyone complaining about my rant at the beginning of the show. If you're just tuning in, watch the beginning of the show and feel free to share it with the people I talked about. So maybe they'll come on the show. I doubt it very much because usually a lot of people just want to complain about me and not talk to me.
I mean, everybody's still welcome if we can just sit down and have discussion because, sometimes that's what you need. And you may not fix anything, but you may settle.
Could happen.
Yep.
All right, listen, as always, please stay safe and stay sane. This is Datu Tim.
MPG time. Take care, everyone.
See you all soon.